Hello. Today we will be discussing my NFL hot takes. We're going to start very soon, but before I want to say I might make these into edits. It depends on if I'm too lazy to make them or not, to be completely honest. Number one is Christian Hackenberg is a top 10 bust of all time. I am a Penn State fan. I remember watching Christian Hackenberg, but the man got drafted in the second round of the 2016 draft, and he never played a snap in the NFL. That's insane. There are players who got drafted much higher, but still, I think Christian Hackenberg is the top 10 bust of all time. I already made that into an edit, by the way, but that's the only one. My next one is Legion. The Legion of Boom is a top 10 defense of all time. Top 5 defense of all time. Some people don't have them in top 5, and I'm like, if you look at the players, if you look at how they played, it's redonkulous. They carried the Seahawks to a win. The Broncos couldn't do anything against us in the Super Bowl. My next one is Jaden McDaniels will be a bust. This one might be a little bit controversial because everyone loves Jaden Daniels, or at least it seems like everyone does. The reason I think that Jaden Daniels will be a bust is because he's so skinny, and in college, he took hits all the time that he didn't need to take. There's a clip of an Ole Miss game that he played, got absolutely leveled, but he didn't need to take that hit. So I think he'll be a bust. He's way too skinny, and at least one of these quarterbacks has to be a bust, probably. So, Michael Penix will go in the third round. This one could happen. It also could not. He could go second round, maybe mid-second round, because all the early teams that pass on a quarterback early in the draft are still going to pass on the quarterback later. But I do think he will go to the third round. He was healthy in his Washington years, but he was so injury prone when he played for, I think it was Wisconsin. He played for, or it might have been, I know it was a red team. It's either Wisconsin or Indiana. Indiana. He was really injury prone in Indiana. He has a great arm, but I just don't think that enough teams are going to need a quarterback. And there are 4 quarterbacks who are better than him or are going to get drafted ahead of him this year. So I could see the Seahawks taking him, but we don't have a second-round pick. We are not spending our first-round pick, number 16 overall, on Michael Penix. Do that, I'm burning everything in my room that's Seahawks related. And that leads us directly to our next one. The Seahawks will make the playoffs. I was talking to my friends, and some of my friends are so stupid. They think that the Giants are going to beat the Seahawks this year. Don't be ridiculous. There is a possibility that the Seahawks don't make the playoffs. I think we'll go at either 10-6 or 11-6, 10-7 or 11-6, and I think we will make the playoffs this year. Russell Wilson will have a good year and win Comeback Player of the Year. This one could happen because he is not that bad, and he had a bounce back year last year, but just not to the extent where he's a good quarterback where you actually want to play him and you want him to be under contract on your team. And with the Steelers, he's not going to have Deontay Johnson, because he left, but he's going to have George Pickens, Pat Freiermuth, Najee Harris in the run game. That's a solid offense, and I forgot their other running back, not going to lie. But I think that's a solid offense. They have a solid coach. Not great. I don't think Mike Tomlin's a great coach, because being mid is not an accomplishment. So, not having a season under 500 is not going to cut it. Having a season where you actually win, yeah, I'll take that. not go 500. That's not an accomplishment. It's an accomplishment, but it's not an accomplishment where you think, okay, that guy's a really good coach. I think he's a solid coach, though. My next take is that Jahan Dotson will have a breakout campaign. Curtis Samuel is gone. He's now on the Bills. And I think he'll get a lot more targets. And either Drake May or Jaden McDaniels is going to be passing him the ball this season. So that's a lot better than Sam Howell. Unless Jaden McDaniels is the boss, like I think he will be. But hopefully Drake May will be passing him the ball. Next one is, as Curtis Samuel went to the Bills, other players left. So I don't think that the Bills will make the playoffs this year. This actually might not be that hot of a take anymore because they traded Stephon Diggs. They lost Micah Hyde. They cut Micah Hyde. They cut Jordan Poyer. They cut Tre'Davious White. All these, they lost Gabe Davis. All these players that you think, okay, those are solid players or good players for the Bills, they lost basically them all except for Josh Allen. But you can't, no matter how good you are as a quarterback, you're not carrying a bad team to that great of a record. I don't think that's completely true, but he's not even top 2 quarterbacks in the league. There's Lamar Jackson, there's Patrick Mahomes, who are better than him. So while he is a good quarterback, while he's a great quarterback, he's not the best in the league, and he's not going to carry an awful team to the playoffs. Or at least I don't think he will. The Rams are the worst team in the NFC West. The Cardinals sucked this year, and the Rams made the playoffs. But the Rams lost Aaron Donald, which, when you lose Aaron Donald, now you got to think, who is your best player? Cooper Kupp, right? Cooper Kupp's a stud. But who's your best player on defense? Byron Young. He's good. He's not him. He's not great. You're trash. You're a trash team. Get out of my face. And I think that the Cardinals will be not good this year, but they won't be as bad as the Rams. Caleb Williams is a top 10 quarterback in the league right out the gate. Name some quarterbacks better. CJ Stroud, Patrick Mahomes, not in any order because obviously CJ Stroud's not above Patrick Mahomes. CJ Stroud, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Kirk Cousins, Trevor Lawrence. That leaves 3 slots for quarterbacks. You can put Stafford up there. That still leaves 2. Brock Purdy. I forgot Brock Purdy. And Justin Herbert. Okay, but I'm not willing to put Stafford above him. So I think he's 10. Drew Lock will start in the mid-season, and he will not give the job back to Daniel Jones. I just think that Drew Lock has solid arm talent. Daniel Jones doesn't. And Daniel Jones is just not as good as Drew Lock, to be completely honest. I just think that Drew Lock is better. Might be glazing on my part, but I still think that Drew Lock is better because I think that Daniel Jones is awful. Trevor Lawrence is closer to Daniel Jones than he is to Patrick Mahomes. I don't think this is a very hot take, but he didn't have the greatest year this year. He also is just not incredible when Patrick Mahomes is so far ahead, and we thought, okay, Trevor Lawrence is this elite prospect, which he is. I still think he is, but Trevor Lawrence is going to be top 10, top 5 right out the gate. He's just not been that, and I don't think if you say he is, you're lying to yourself. Kyle Pitts, production-wise, so stat-wise and just receiving-wise, Kyle Pitts will be the best tight end in the NFL. Travis Kelce's a stud. He's getting older. Why has Kyle Pitts not gotten insane stats so far? Lack of targets, bad quarterback. Arthur Smith is out. Lack of targets will probably go out the window. Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. So he's right there. Boom. It's two things that his team has been missing. It just got put together. And I think he'll be a stud this year. I've seen this recently due to March Madness. I've heard people saying DJ Burns could be in the NFL and he could be a tackle in the NFL. Hell no, he could not. DJ Burns would be an awful tackle, is my next take. Because the players who are in the NFL have been doing this for decades. And when I'm saying decades, I mean decades. Like, at least decades. At least a decade. Maybe 2. If they're like 30, then they've been playing for like 2 decades. He's not coming in and being better than even one of the worst tackles in the league. He's not, and he said before, he's not focusing all of his attention in football, because if he focuses attention in football, then he's forced to gain so much weight that he couldn't really come back to basketball after. So I think DJ Burns would be an awful tackle. And then my last hot take is a very hot one, because he's been falling down the draft boards more and more every single week, it seems. Now, it was that he was the number 1 tackle in the class, and now he's like number 4, which I think is ridiculous. And my last take is that Olu Fashanu, it's pronounced Fashanu apparently. I was watching a Bengal video, and Bengal said that he had like talked to Olu Fashanu, and he said it was Fashanu. So Olumia Fashanu will be the best tackle in this class. He's huge. He's never allowed a sack in Penn State. He's a beast. All right. Anyways, bye. I might make these into edits. Might not. Depends on how many people like this video or comment and say, hey, we want to see you do this. And also if I'm lazy or not. So another video will be coming at you guys very soon. And by I mean very soon, I mean probably in the next hour. So, bye. Have a beautiful day.